Good morning, welcome. Remember, the 5th of November, the first day we had Mini Cooper back on the show.
Thank you very much for having me, Rich. How have you been?
Mate, this makes me so happy.
Thank you very much.
The crowd have been asking, where is the young Padawan? Unfortunately, it does come along with some sad news. Pete Ward, my good friend and trusty PCM, has left the company. Mini Cooper, you worked for Pete.
Yeah,
obviously.
Course. Yeah. So I've been very busy on desk. So as a result, I haven't been able to do this. But I'm back now. I'm good to go.
And literally, people have been phoning you up asking, why have you not been on the show?
Yeah, I had someone I spoke to yesterday who, obviously there's two Lukes, but recognised my voice because Luke Moore's still been doing it, of course.
Mm-hmm. And you said, don't you worry, we're on tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning.
Good stuff. Well, it's fantastic to have you back. We'll get a life update in a minute. We've got a lot of comments on there.
Loads of comments.
Now, Rico Segal asking me to go easy on Piers this morning. Are you having a laugh? Why are we going easy on Piers this morning?
Because you're always so mean to him.
He bloody deserves it. Excuse my language, but we already had Steve Sedgwick swearing on CNBC this morning, so we're free. Let's go. What's coming up on today's show then, people? It's going to be a cracker. It's going to be certainly a day of tough interviews, and that's not me just talking about me and Minnie here. So yeah, look with us right up to 8:30. But then we've got Piers on, so that's going to be really interesting because he has been calling for a slap in the Nasdaq, as he said at the weekend. And boy, oh boy, we've started to get it this week. And then yes, you got it there. 9:10 this morning. Andrew Webley. Last time Andrew Webley was sitting in this studio, the stock price was 32 pence.
Okay.
Right? So the valuation of the company was probably about 150 million sterling.
Yeah.
It then went up to over $1 billion in the next 6 weeks.
It's crazy.
And now it's back down to, well, it must be about 150 million now.
Yeah. Because it's slightly higher than where it was when he last came in then, right?
Yeah. Sorry, no. So the stock must have been worth about 20 million on the first time, and now it's worth 150 million.
Right, okay, got you.
So yeah, but the difference being he's got 200 million of Bitcoin now.
Yeah.
Last time he was in, he had 10 million of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a real interesting show this morning. If you've got questions for Andrew Webley, if you've got questions for Piers, then please send them in. We shall collate all those for you. But, Mini Cooper, give us a life update. So you've been...
Life update?
Have you been to Sweden? Was that...
Yeah, I went to Sweden, it must have been around 3-4 weeks ago. So amazing. I was having meatballs every day. Every day, yeah.
You could have got those in IKEA.
No, we actually went to IKEA there, and that was also like delicious. However, we went to this other place. Let me check the name on my phone. And I actually had
restaurant, was it?
I actually had like hog meatballs,
right?
Because you could have like deer, you could have bear, which I thought would be really, and rabbit, to like eat a bear or rabbit.
Bear.
Yeah. Would you say what? No. Would you eat a bear?
I've had a bull one, but I've never had a bear one.
Meatballs for the people. That was it.
Meatballs for the people. So that's in the middle of Stockholm, is it?
Yeah, and it came with this amazing mashed potato. Because normally when I have mashed potato, I get microwave mashed potato, but put my own twist on it. So I put in cheese, pepper, salt, mix it up, so it tastes a little bit better. It's still not top tier, but like it's better than like the standard microwave. And because I'm cooking for myself, there's no point me like cutting up potatoes, peeling them, mashing them. So
Right. Now we know Ronnie's relationship is blossoming.
Yep.
How's the love life?
Nothing for myself at the moment.
Spending.
Why is everyone in the studio doing that?
We can hear Angeline going, from through the solid door. Well, look, it's Valentine's soon.
14th of Feb. Is that soon?
Okay, we are going to go into overnight action in a minute, but we do have a public announcement first. So, in the last couple of weeks, somebody has stolen something from Mini Cooper.
We don't know if it's been stolen or just someone's accidentally misplaced it, but my laptops went missing.
From your desk?
Yeah, well, good thing is now I've got a new laptop.
So, and this was about the same time as Pete left?
No. This was around 2 weeks ago. Pete left. It must have been around 5-6 weeks ago now.
Yeah. Right, let's go into some overnight action before we go with the search for Mini Cooper's laptop. Right, I woke about 1:30 in the morning, and it was one of those evenings where I did have a look at the markets because anything could have been happening last night. I thought it was going to be Bitcoin that was going to have a tough evening, but it actually turned out to be the S&P. Look at what happened there. For the sell-off started at midnight. So as Japan opened, and you saw the S&P trade down to 67.20. The lowest I saw it was 6724. And look at that little purchase there. Eh?
There we
Mini
go.
Cooper.
Talk about timing.
£10 a point. There we go. I was awake at 1:40 a.m. Unfortunately, I thought, that was a chance to buy some of my delta against my options.
Yeah.
Hoping the market would still continue a little bit lower, but no, we've had a bit of a rally in the alley. Now, Bitcoin is that had a really tricky day yesterday.
Yeah, it went below $100,000, which is like a key point. But then, to be fair, it did come back up above it shortly after, and it is above that now. But obviously, that is that key level, and there is fear, there is worry that Bitcoin could drop even further. Because, well, when Trump got in, I think it was November the 5th, Bitcoin at that point was like in the low 60s, right? And ever since then, of course, it has done very, very well. So it's interesting to see what happens because, of course, yesterday, I was reading on Bloomberg how a lot of the Wall Street bankers came out and basically said, there's a bit of fear, obviously, with like the tech stocks and valuations. Like we saw Palantir, I think they reported Monday, and then yesterday got absolutely hammered.
Down 8% on the day, but down over 15% from the highs after the earnings were reported. And did we see the real side of Alex Karp? He was crying on CNBC as Michael Burry disclosed a short position through derivatives, which is perfectly normal. He did it in NVIDIA as well. And as every hedge fund has to disclose their positions, especially short positions. And Alex Karp accused him of market manipulation. Grow up. Absolutely absurd.
It's not like Palantir is overvalued or anything, is it?
Some people may argue, Mini Cooper, that the valuation is excessive in some ways. So there we go, away from the numbers. Yeah, we got the new mini saws. We'll start calling you now. It is a nice hat, isn't it? So Karp really just so childish. Like, unless the stock goes up on numbers, then everybody who either sells it or shorts it is anti-American. It's just
sorry, Rich. I've just seen the comment from Ange. There's still time, Mini Cooper. Come on, you beautiful TLWIG trade live with IG. One of you must be single. Well, I can't even read the rest of that out.
I think she's trying to set you up. Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm not sure our viewer, the target market is.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. So we have a poll on that one. So a real tricky day. But have a look at this Bitcoin chart. The last time we saw it below 100,000 was on the 22nd of June. And that was on a Sunday, and that was for a very short period of time. So it is a really interesting level, and the perfect day for Andrew Webley to be on. I have heard of some financing issues around leverage in the crypto markets. Now, this all started 3 weekends ago, when you had the problem with Binance.
Yep.
And subsequently, a lot of money was lost, a lot of people were stopped out, and it was primarily due to an issue with Binance.
Like the second biggest in terms of liquidations ever, so I read.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds about right. But subsequently, the crypto markets really struggled to recover from this. And that's because certain leverage products that require financing, the interest rates on financing has, at some points along the way, been stretched and started to go higher.
Yeah.
Higher than potentially the returns that the funds are looking for.
Yeah.
So that's just a little bit of background there of why we're seeing such unpredictable and volatile moves in crypto.
Yeah, because Bitcoin, I think highest it's got to is 125, 126. So
Yeah.
obviously now where are we, like 101, 102?
That's right, yeah. So that also plays into this idea because in America, the same people that have got their Robinhood accounts are going to be ones that are involved in the crypto world as well.
Yeah.
Speaking, on a large scale, we know that retail have been the big buyers of the AI stocks.
Yeah.
And if they're feeling pain in crypto, especially if they're leverage, then you see the pain that goes on in these stocks here as well.
I know the feeling, Rich. I've got a bit of MSTR in my MicroStrategy, of course, in my ISA. It's not going too well at the moment.
Right. So you're
I
suffering.
think MSTR is probably around $250, whereas like my average price is like $335 roughly.
As many people's has been.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So you had a really weak day yesterday. But look at the carnage there of the AI names.
Yeah.
7% down on AMD. We'll go on to those in a minute.
We will.
Palantir now down 10. 186. So that's the lowest we've seen it. Oracle 245. Oracle, I'm getting killed in that. So I've been long Oracle from about 290, I think. Then Marvell we'll speak about with peers later on as well. That's at 86.
Broadcom there as well, like you say.
Netflix has stood strong, right? Netflix, of course, not an AI play at all, and has already sold off $100 after numbers. But
still, as of late, Netflix, generally speaking, has done pretty damn well.
Yeah, over the past 4 months.
Yeah.
So yeah, carnage. Shall we dive into the AMD numbers then?
Yeah, let's go into AMD.
Go on. How did they report?
So AMD reported fiscal third quarter results that exceeded Wall Street expectations, but gave margin guidance which was in line with estimates. The stock fell almost 5% in extended trading. So just some of the key numbers here. Earnings per share was $1.20 adjusted versus the $1.16 expected. And revenue, again, was greater than expected. It was $9.25 billion versus the $8.74 billion expected. Revenue increased 36% from a year earlier in the fiscal third quarter. So from that, obviously, the numbers do look good, but then obviously given what happened and the fact that loads of Wall Street bankers came out yesterday and said about tech stocks and how they are overvalued, to be fair, from memory, I think the ratio, I think AMD trading like 13, 14 times earnings, which, relatively speaking, compared to like Palantir, isn't actually that much. That's what I read.
No, I would question that.
That's what I read.
No. Well, we'll have a look at it. So
We'll have a look, but
expectation, let me see. So 116.4. No, it's more like 40, I think. But we'll double check that for you.
Yeah, we'll double check that. But anyway, I think with AMD though, generally speaking, it's really the only company who could really rival Nvidia. So they are investing a lot in GPUs, which is good to see. Obviously, you have got like Qualcomm, Broadcom as well, but I would argue that AMD are number 2, just behind. Well, not just behind, quite a bit behind Nvidia.
I think it's a lot in the price. So the last couple of days of reporting season, we've seen last week Amazon do well, Google has done well this season, and what's the other one that, Alphabet, sorry, Google, really good results. And when you're at the end, after the market's already been pumped higher on such good results, then it's a case of travel and arrive. So I'm sure you've all heard of travel and arrive before, but the finance legends that talk about it's better to travel than arrive. Once you get there, you see what happens. So,
after you, sorry.
No,
I was
please.
going to say, did a partnership with OpenAI. That was on the 6th of October.
Yeah.
And AMD skyrocketed 23% that day.
Yeah.
Which is,
So
not bad at all. I think that was the option to potentially get 10% through warrants, but it's dependent on a number of factors such as AMD share price and things like that. But of course, really positive for AMD. So I think they did a partnership with Broadcom as well, and NVIDIA, of course, OpenAI, that is.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody that's
And Oracle,
gone to visit Sam Altman, I think, has managed to get a contract now. But yet more interesting look at the Financial Times this morning, yet more intrigue with Deutsche now exploring hedging its data center exposure. So this comes from the top executives trying to work out, right, we're going to have a little bit of a panic up, as always happens. They've put out huge lending, billions of dollars in debt to the companies building the data centers, and now they're worried that those debts will come back and bite them on the behind. So Deutsche is considering shorting a basket of AI-related equities.
Not a bad idea. The thing is,
I hope it started a couple of days ago. It's also considering buying default protection on some of that debt. So that has not helped the sector.
No.
But again, this leads through everything we've been saying. AI bubble, AI bubble, AI
The thing
bubble.
is, it's just the timing as well. Like with Trump's tariffs at the start of April, where we saw a huge drop in markets. I mean, you just never know when it is. I'm always reading online saying, "Oh, there's going to be a correction," but no one knows when.
Of course.
And they don't say when. They just say, "Oh, within like the next 12 months." That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, David Solomon said there's 10 to 20% downside in the next 12 months. Yeah,
It's just the timing though, because I'd say, now with Trump when he comes out and announces things such as on Twitter, then of course that does cause much bigger market reactions than what it was, let's say 3-4 years ago, when it could have been CPI or NFP. So it's generally what we were looking for on the desk, where there's more vol.
No.
But now it's more like Trump and what's he come out with?
because there is no data.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the last paragraph of this article. Deutsche analysts said in late September that concerns were overplayed after using AI to analyze how many mentions of an AI bubble there were in English language publications since the start of the year. They concluded one AI bubble has already burst, the bubble in saying there's a bubble. So they used AI to do the analysis, and then it sounds like they used the AI to publish that piece of research as well. Okay, in the chat, Maturin, thank you. So AMD 156 backward looking on PE ratio. I think at the moment forward looking it's about 50. So between 40 and 50 on that. Poppy, we've got on the chat here. So my good friend CJ, he thinks potentially time to buy Ethereum. There's a proper clearing out process going on, but positions are now much cleaner. And talking about the Bitcoin trades about. Right, I tell you what, CJ, then I am going to follow you straight in. So where are we? Ethereum, yes, 33. We'll have, and we'll buy 3 contracts as well. So there we go. Keep CJ happy. The chairman, of course. Morning, chairman, sir. So crypto, of course, available on the for professional clients. But how else do you get crypto at IG? Mini
Correct.
Cooper.
Yeah, so of course we're FCA regulated. So as a result, only professional clients can trade crypto on derivative. However, what you can do with us, you can actually invest in physical crypto. So we currently offer 37 different cryptocurrencies, and all you have to do is once you're in your IG account, let's say if you've got an ICE or a shared or a spread bet or a CFD account, you just get the add account option at the top, and then from there you can just follow the simple steps and you'll be able to add a crypto account. And then in addition, of course, I'm sure you will know, but you can actually purchase equities. Of course, you can purchase like Coinbase MicroStrategy, but that doesn't necessarily move with the price of Bitcoin.
Yeah. Do you want to disclose that you've got a position in any of those?
MSTR, yeah. Yeah. I'm down a bit in my ISA, but I've got gold, I've got S&P.
So the problem is, of course, one of the reasons that you hold MicroStrategy in your ISA is because before you couldn't put crypto into your ISA. But now we know, we talked about 21 shares ATP and ETNs last week. And so now you can buy Bitcoin and Ethereum in an exchange traded product and put it into your ISA or SIP. That's the problem that these treasuries are having is now, because the great thing before was you could put strategy into your ISA and you had Bitcoin exposure. Now you can have pure Bitcoin exposure. And it's all, you know, somebody like 21 Shares has actually got the asset backed in their account, and it's held in a big vault.
It's good because if not, if you realise any profits above £3,000, which is capital gains tax threshold, then you have to pay, dependent upon how much you earn, CGT on it. So.
Well, but hands off our investments, Rachel Reeves.
Too right.
Because that capital gains could be changing, Mini Cooper, right?
Yeah.
And, did we hear about it last night? Because Liz Truss, of course, telling us yesterday, as we reported live on air, telling us that income tax, there is a chance that there could be a rise there.
But in the manifestos, you said initially you wouldn't raise income tax, national insurance or VAT. So
she was quizzed last night. Will you resign if you increase tax and break the manifesto pledge? Do you know what her reply was?
What was her reply? I just read about it.
Can you imagine what would happen to financial markets then?
Really? I can't tell if you're joking or not.
No, I swear. She was interviewed. Let's see where she was interviewed. I don't think it's in this article.
I read a nice article which Beachy wrote on it, and I'm quite surprised that Beachy hasn't put anything in like that. So I know how much Beachy loves her.
Yeah. Screen off, please, guys. So let's see if we can. Actually, I think it was on the front page. It's not even in the business section. It's on the front page.
Also, you've got corporation tax, council tax, business rates, and fuel duties. They are the next biggest revenue generators after the income, national insurance, and VAT.
Yeah.
But I mean, increasing. Let's say, like, if you increase corporation tax, you really don't want to do that, because she was talking about productivity and about how we need to improve productivity here in the UK.
Absolutely.
How are we going to do that?
Now, one bit of good news that did come out yesterday, which is what we've all been crying out for. I recently did the campaign with London Stock Exchange on financial literacy. So the FT running the story today that at last all school children in England, forget those Scots, the Scots don't need to know about financial literacy, they are going to be taught in schools. It's going to be compulsory for all primary and secondary school pupils in England as part of an overhaul in the curriculum that aims to equip students with the skills needed to navigate the modern world. At last!
Finally!
Imagine you had got that education when you were at school, Mini Cooper. Where would you have been now?
Not here. I'm joking.
Primary age children will be taught the fundamentals of money, how to spot fake news, and be educated about climate change as part of that compulsory classes from September 2028. That's right.
Yeah.
Why do it now? Let's wait 3 years to implement something.
Don't get that, because
I could write a curriculum in 7 minutes on ChatGPT, and they're waiting 3 years.
No, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's really good to see, particularly due to the fact that I feel a lot of younger students, when I mean young students, I say 16, 17-year-olds who may be doing A-levels or something like that, don't necessarily know about things like ISAs, like cash ISA, stocks and shares ISA. How if if you save them for the long run, let's say over a period of 7-8 years, and you've got a part-time job, you manage to save a little bit of money, you're always best off, generally speaking, putting it in like an S&P 500 tracker or something like that, rather than just having it
Depends.
in cash.
Historically speaking.
Historically speaking,
Yeah,
yes,
at the
over
moment.
8 or 9 years,
Yeah.
then that's for sure.
Yeah.
Obviously, as an example, IG at the moment pay 4% on rates, right? So in line with the Bank of England rate. Obviously, that depends what happens. I think the next meeting's on the 6th of November.
It's tomorrow.
Yeah, so it's a 28% chance at the moment of a 25 bit cut. But yeah, like I say, knowing about ISAs, having ISAs, it's much better than just keeping it in like your bank account. Like I used to just keep it in my NatWest account.
I used to keep it in my piggy bank in my room. There we go. So keep interest rates on hold until after the budget, the Times shadow MPC says. A 5-4 vote to just get us through until there's clarity about the budget. So yeah, Bank of England should wait. As Mini Cooper says, only a 28% cut, 28% chance of a cut.
Yeah.
Now, how did cable react yesterday to those moves?
Yeah, so, cable, so GBP USD got down to 1.3, 1.31 from 1.33 previously. And
lower today, isn't it? It's now at 13022.
Ooh.
So look at that, Rachel. What are you doing?
Yeah, not good. But then, to be fair, yesterday it was around like midday. The MSCI Europe index was down as well. So it wasn't just the UK.
Yeah, it's dollar strength rather than
yeah.
So yeah, that's tricky. 130. Oh my goodness, where are we going to be by the end of the month?
It'll be expensive when we go into the US.
Lee JS asking, are we allowed to discuss that hat? You discuss the hat as much as you want, Lee. This wasn't under any duress.
No.
Mini Cooper rocked up this morning, saw it. We have it out on the desk there as a tribute to Soz, and you decided that it was going to be the
I think it
fashion
looks pretty
looking
cool.
Yeah.
I'll have to get you one for next time.
Well, there's actually one on top of that camera there. Okay, so forget a break. Why have a break when we've got Mini Cooper back?
You don't need a break.
Eh? Come on. For all those of you that make a cup of tea before the market open on our break, go and make your cup of tea. But we're going to stick around.
So much to talk about.
There is. Marks and Spencers, please.
Yeah, so we've got M&S. That, of course, would be out in 3 minutes, assuming it's not an extended auction. But they are reporting
Interim C recovery from cyber attack and H2 PBT at least in line with last year, with home online sales back to growth. So that's had a decent run to get up to £4, and that is expected to open unchanged. As is Barrett Redrow. Nothing really to get your teeth into there, just a trading update. And then Weir Group are looking up 2% on the back of Q3 trading update, seeing orders up 2%. Anything else for us, Minnie?
I was going to talk about M&S for a bit, but do you want me to do that when we actually get the numbers out?
You got 45 seconds. You go for your life.
45 seconds, let's go. Yeah, so I did a bit of research before, of course, and on M&S, like you just mentioned there, obviously there was a cyber attack, right? This was back in around April, May time, and of course that did hit M&S quite heavily because a lot of their sales are, of course, they do have shops in store, and a lot of people do shop in store, but of course a large portion of revenue does come from online. And I'm just reading here that the orders online were put on pause from late April, and then they were only back to normal in July. So of course that is quite a long time. And then in addition to that, customer data was stolen, which of course isn't great.
So London Guide on chat is putting 2 and 2 together, and he thinks you've been off to Turkey to get your hair done. That's why you've got a hat on.
Do you think my teeth as well?
That's why we have it, and your teeth as well. That's two for the price of one.
What? I'm going to have to take my hat off now.
No. Oh, well, Oh, that does. It still looks like you've been to Turkey, mate. Let's be honest. Right, let's get your bell in your hand then, sir, because we've got 15 seconds.
Which bell am I using, Rich?
Well, we can. So you haven't used the.
No.
I
might use both actually.
We're now sponsored by the London Stock Exchange for their bell. They gifted us the
Use
bell.
that one then.
And I'll take the Bull Marché one because I've got to say the Bull's not dead in the FTSE. 3, 2, 1, and opening. The UK stock market at the London Stock Exchange with today, the 5th of November. Let's hope there's no explosions in Westminster to rock the party with those announcements from Reeves yesterday. But we see Marks and Spencer's actually up 1.2%.
There we go.
On the back of their numbers there. So £3.90. They did touch £4 last week. They've dropped back on recent weakness in UK retail.
We've got trade line on call to close there. I remember looking on the LSEG website this morning, and there was some data coming out on that.
Okay, right.
Although I see it's just gone now.
Scottish Mortgage Trust, that's down 1.4%, mirroring the Nasdaq losses overnight. Burberry down 2%, so more weakness in luxury. We'll check the European names in a minute. Diageo, there's an article in them on the Times today, but currently trading down 1.1%. What else are you seeing
there?
We've
got the banks down as well. We've got Barclays down 0.81%. We've got HSBC down 0.6%. We've got NatWest down 0.48%. Right,
so the banks getting it this morning as well. Weakness in the banking sector. Let's see who your winners of the day are. Oh, it's in those retail names. So Tesco.
There we go. We've got Tesco up 0.89%. We've got M&S up 0.73% there.
But yeah, there's not too many winners around, is there?
No.
There is not too many winners around.
Do you reckon that maybe just market sentiment in general? Or
I think so. The futures broadly across globally. If we have a quick look at the Asian moves overnight, you'll see why you're seeing a lot of weakness in the FTSE this morning. Japan down 2.5%. It has been worse. It was down as much as 4% overnight.
Yeah.
And then Hong Kong. Small down with China, small higher. So now that we jumped from UK to Asia, let's come back to Europe. ASML down 4% this morning. You also had numbers from Supermicro. Supermicro stock down 9% after hours. So that's weighing on ASML down 4%. And then you get those luxury names. Puma. You go through some more of it, and then we'll talk about Puma.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a little bit more vol here than what we've got in the UK session so far. Of course, we've got Louis Vuitton there down 2.45%. Herring down 2.05%. Like Rich just mentioned, we've got Puma, which we'll talk about in a sec. That's down 1.92%. Got Renault down 1.19%. We've got another luxury brand, Hermes, down 1.2%.
Any winners at all, Minnie? Let's see.
I think with these luxury brands such as Louis Vuitton and Hermes, in difficult times, generally speaking, they don't do that well.
It's a flight to safety. So you're seeing Deutsche Telekom higher, Heineken, Nestle, E.ON, Danone. So they are all defensive there. Almost the only stocks up in the day. Going back to Puma, IR, I saw your question this morning. Please talk about Puma. That has been a rubbish one for me. If we go back to my current portfolio, you can see I've still got it holding out for a potential bid at some point. But yeah, 7,000 euros of stock, and it's cost me 700 euros. So down 10% on that one. That has been painful. Still got it. I don't have many longs in my portfolio.
I know you are very bearish, Rich. We always talk about on desk, actually.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad that you've got plenty to talk about on the desk.
Talk about you all day.
And yeah, so those calls have paid well overnight. I have got the futures that I bought there this morning. God, it's nice to wake up and have a 1:30 in the morning and taking a bit of money from there. Now, Whitbread. Whitbread I've been getting carted on as well. So if you remember, Whitbread had numbers, they were trading at £31.
Okay.
Then the stock dropped down to 28.50.
Yeah.
They went more aggressive on the buyback, was what we were hearing. The stock got back up to £30.50.
Yeah.
Then it went ex-dividend, and it is absolutely collapsed. So back down now to £28. So it's almost like you're, is it a second chance Sunday to get in on the Premier Inns? Oh, that reminds me, I saw Jacob Rees-Mogg yesterday.
Oh, really? Where?
It was outside a Premier Inn. He was not going into the Premier Inn.
I was going to say.
He was looking very smart.
He always does, doesn't he?
Yes. And it was Putney. I was going to cross Putney Bridge to get my neck cracked, to go to the chiropractor.
Right, okay. I was thinking.
And back cracked and all that stuff.
Okay, yeah.
And suddenly he's walking past, he's got a poppy on.
Yeah, that's nice.
I said, "Good afternoon, sir." And he went, "Oh, good afternoon."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
that was nice.
You got a selfie?
Yeah.
That was a no.
But Whitbread, I don't know what to do here. Look at this. So absolute thumped, then the big rally back, but it's really had a sell-off.
Was the only reason why the share price went up, not the only reason, part was the buyback? Or
well, that's certainly what gave it that support there.
Yeah.
But there was a feeling around that it had been overdone. I'm going to double up in this. Remind me what size I bought the first time. I don't think it was too big. It was 500 shares. So we're going to buy another 500 shares here to give me a total of 1,000 shares with an average of £28.50. So we'll have that. I think it's almost time for. Just on one more thing. We talked about Puma.
Yeah.
Right. It's not Puma only them. Right. They obviously had crap numbers. The stock came down. Nike is also now at 61.30. I know we had somebody on the show ask about them yesterday as well. Yeah. Exactly the same. These consumer names are getting thumped. It's as if there's just a massive basket of all consumer discretionary, and it is just getting hit every single day.
Out of interest, is this just like in the Western world? What about like in Asia and things like that? Is it the same story there, or
in consumer discretionary? I'm trying to think of what, Nintendo? Would that be consumer discretionary? Should we have a look at Nintendo? I think they might have had numbers recently. No, they just had good numbers actually. So they are up 6%.
Out of interest, where are we with Adidas at the moment?
Yeah, so Adidas is the same. That has been thumped as well. Look at that. Exactly the same, right? So it's all one trade in these things. If we look at Deckers, you'll get the same thing. If we look at On Holding, exactly the same thing, right? They're all the same charts.
Yeah.
So for that, I topped up a little bit more on Nike yesterday. Lee JS asking us on Nike as well.
I know you love Nike because they're not new. When did they get a new CEO? Is it like Elliot Hill?
Elliot Hill, exactly. So he's now been in for, is it coming up for a year? No, we got rid of the old one. No, it's not. He's reported 2 sets of numbers, so it must be about 9 months.
Okay.
And I think the story's changing at Nike, but the market's given you an opportunity.
I was actually reading on social media the other day. I think it must have been Instagram about how like the Nike Air Force One is like going out of fashion. I was like, what? Because that's always been like a fashion.
How dare they?
Always been like a fashionable shoe, right?
Fashion.
Exactly.
How can that go out of fashion? It's a classic. Jeez.
Rich, don't throw it on the floor like that. Come on.
Right,
we've got to pick your shoe up now.
We've got to let Anjan to have a chat.
You can't treat an Air Force like that.
Yeah, it's true. It goes with your hat as well.
No, I can't put on your shoes. What size feet you got?
10 and a half.
Too big for me.
On that note, I'll be back with Piers in about 20 minutes and go to guess the chart. What country are we in? It's the US. What's he going to have? What's your guess? Read Phil's mind.
Something in the US.
It's probably reported.
I'll just go with tech. I'll go with Qualcomm. because they are reporting later today.
No. Right, we'll leave you to it. We've got a clue from, it's like countdown now, isn't it? We've got a clue for the guess the chart. It is, this stock is full of energy.
With a wink and a cue, Dom's in control with the perfect view. Axel's got fire, Pierce got the spin, the market hums and the lights rush in. We got the crowd, the string, the spark, that magic glow before it starts. It's not advice, it's just the tune that keeps us moving past the moon. Every beat, every start, something stirs within the heart. The world turns gold and we can't deny. Shine beneath the morning sky. We're dancing through the morning rain, feeling that joy again. The rhythm moves, the crowd will sway. We're chasing the sun today. Oh, we're guessing the chart. We're playing our part. It's a brand new day. Hands up high, we testify. No dream too small to try. When the bell rings out and the beat gets high, we rise with trade line with IG. Oh my, we're dancing through the morning rain, feeling that joy again. The rhythm moves, the crowd will sway. We're chasing the sun today. Oh, we're guessing the chart. We're playing our part. It's a brand new day. Trade line with IG. Trade line with IG. Trade line with IG. Trade line IG. It's a brand new day.
We're talking.
Hey, trading friends, welcome to the show. What an amazing morning start. I was watching outside me.
I could hear you.
Oh, you
I see you in the comments.
So much for the IG, soundproof glass here. Loads happening. The question is, have we got a winner for Guess the Chart? Wow, Pilates, well done you. We were trying to guess outside, but I would not have got Monster
I
Beverage.
would never have guessed that, no.
Did you manage to even come close?
No.
Interesting. Talking about that, look at that chart, parabolic, one that is like that today. Choo-choo. Train line. Let's have a look at that.
Let's have a look at train line.
Up 10% there. Look at
Yeah,
that
good.
strong candle. Showing you the minute chart as well, just to give you a sense of that gap up, as you can see there.
Yeah.
Big news from Trainline, one that I've been watching earlier, because Trainline, of course, was indicated higher. And then we also had it closed for a bit until it uncrossed.
Yeah, so typically with that, the LSE stock, go into an extended auction when there is a little bit more volatility. As a result of that, when me and Rich were talking, and at 8:01, 8:02, you would have seen the orange call button, right? It wouldn't have been green.
Yeah.
And therefore, you wouldn't have been able to place a trade because it was in an auction.
It was so much higher than indications. It was indicated some 2% higher. Bottom line there, interims saw strong operating performance. Revenues up some 2%. And the adjusted EBITDA up 14% as well. Another big mover, I have to say, do you ever go to JD Wetherspoons? Are you that kind of guy?
Sometimes. I used to more when I was younger. It was good drinks.
Booze, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. And a decent breakfast as well. The only thing I didn't like was I didn't feel like the sausages had enough pork content in.
It probably has no pork content.
Oh, don't say that. The hell.
Sounds like a pork. JD Wetherspoon is moving down 3.5% there. Looks like they're not convinced about the pork sausages as well. The move there attributed to its cautious outlook ahead of Rachel Reeves' budget statement, which is not long now, 26.
Yeah.
Yeah. So taking a look at the list there, Ceres Power, Doyle 45. We can indeed look at Ceres Power for you. Ceres Power, thank you very much. Up more than 4% there. Ceres, one that was in my filter list this morning.
That price chart.
I know, right? It's a thing of beauty there. This is because Weichai has signed a manufacturing license for SWC Power. Speaking of JDs, another JD that is up.
JD. Let's get the JD price chart up. And out of interest, what's the client sentiment on JD at the moment?
JD Sports. Let's have a look. It's down 0.75%. Now, I know quite a few of our clients have positions on this.
Yeah, because JD is like a big name on the UK high street. I certainly know when I was a lot younger, I used to buy a lot of my sportswear from there.
A lot of analysts as well, back in the day, used to go into JD's here to have a look at what the pyramids were telling you. You know those pyramids of boxes?
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes. When you said pyramids, I was thinking, what are you talking about?
Well, there used to be pyramids when it used to be a pile. Now they stack them in boxes.
Yes, yeah, exactly, yeah.
And so taking a look at JD, it used to be that if you had piles and piles of those boxes, and depending on what brands they were, those were the brands that you would short, that you're looking into. You wanted to go long.
No one wants them.
Yeah, you want to go long the ones that are in the shop window.
Yeah. Or on the shelves.
Or on the shelves, yeah. But shop windows, especially when it's on a pedestal. JD Sports, they're down 0.2%, actually a bit more now, almost 1% there. Having a look at that for you. Checking on to the longer time frame, let's have a look at the weekly chart for you. You can see how far that's come. And we have talked quite a bit about consumer brands and how that's been hit recently.
Yeah.
I mean, friends, you've heard Julian Wheeler from Shard Capital yesterday talking about how in this brand new world, many companies that have relied on their brands in the past have been whacked as we have a changing, more diverse consumer space now. Speaking of which, Metro, have you ever used Metro?
I haven't used Metro, no. What about yourself?
Here we are. Let's have a look at Metro.
Metro Bank PLC.
Yeah, it is up 6.8%, friends. One of the biggest movers.
Not bad.
Today. Not bad indeed, but it has come from a place. It's taken a while to climb up to those levels that we're seeing right now, because don't forget, it was not too long ago when it was around that 76 mark. Metro, for those of you that remember, and your memory goes back as far as mine, they launched a great fanfare when they launched, and they had this gimmick where they were giving away free dog biscuits. Do you remember that?
Free dog biscuits?
At their new branches. Their whole mantra was like, once everyone's closing branches, we're opening.
Yeah.
We're opening.
Right, okay, and that was like, come to me sort of thing, yeah.
Exactly. Metro Q3 trading update there. Metro that's saying it sees continued growth and reaffirming its full year guidance. For those of you that have a position in Metro, well done you. Another one that's on the move, TP ICAP. TPI kept just checking on that for you, is down 2.6% there. Home builders, many of your clients like home builders?
Yeah, quite a few trade home builders, yeah.
Let's have a look at Barrett.
Let's have a look at Barrett Redrow.
There we are. It keeps changing its name. I've got to a point now where I'm just calling it Barrett. I'm taking a stand, friends. Just talking about Barrett. So Barrett is down 1.5%. Do you know many people who have, exposure to Barrett or have had a Barrett
We would be able to see
home?
on the client sentiment with respect to client positions.
84% long there.
And that is between, if you know I've got bad eyesight, between 51 to 250 IG clients. So that's a fair few clients, to be fair. Because how this basically works is the absolute max it will show. Let's say for like one of our most popular markets, such as the NASDAQ, it just shows 500 plus clients with open positions in this market. So for an equity, I say, particularly a UK one, as they're not as popular as the US, is pretty decent.
Let's have a quick look for Monkey Man. I think it is Monkey Man, isn't it? GM, let's have a look. Here we are. I take it you're talking about GameStop and not General Motors. No, General Motors. Here we are. And General Motors, of course, now offered on the extended hours on the platform. Look at that huge move there.
I was going to say, because it's extended hours, and basically what that means is you'll see live pricing and pre-market in, 39 minutes from 9 o'clock. Obviously, last week that was different. And that was just for the week because of the hour changes. But on the weekend, the hour changed in the US. So now it's back to normal. Yeah. Whereas you've got the 24 hours there, which is like for those much more liquid stocks such as Tesla, Nvidia, which is 24/5 trading. Whereas the extended hours is the same as our all sessions offering previously.
Nice, nice, nice. And General Motors, one that I am looking at very, very closely.
Yeah, I remember that got absolutely hammered with Trump's tariffs. I think that was one which got hammered the most.
Yeah, let's give our trader friends a reminder there of what happened in the April tariff tantrum. But it has started moving back higher there. That's a weekly chart. Let's go to a daily. That might be an easier way for you to have a look at what we're talking about here. And there you have it. It's really, really come back now. But be aware that, we could see further volatility ahead. We are waiting on news, of course. Tesla, Toyota, Ford, all of those car makers, I'm sure Ford as well, and GM as well, have urged Trump to extend a North American free trade deal that they say is absolutely key to America.
I think General Motors back with all the tariffs, they were the most exposed, along with Ford pretty close after, because I know a lot of their production is in Mexico. Yeah.
Let's take a look at something that glistens, or to use shines. For our Sachs, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for that wonderful, warm welcome when I came back from holiday. This is also for IR as well, that asks for gold. We're looking at gold here, consolidating at that 3,980 mark there. This, I feel, is telling us more about this move here, telling us more about consolidation than panic. What's your view?
I mean, it's interesting with gold. Obviously, last week, it must have been, I can't remember the exact date, I think it was earlier on in the week where we saw it was gold drop 5% in a day and then silver drop 7%. I mean, I personally don't think, I know, because
I was biting on a stick on my holiday. I was, my husband had to say, please stop checking because it's causing you to. Well, but I stayed and I held. I still have my gold miners.
On that day, I have a gold ETF in my ISA, right? So I just bought a little bit more because it's just like a long-term thing. So I hold it for like years and years and years.
Yeah, me too.
So it's not trading when you've got like funding costs and things like that. So I thought that was a good opportunity because I necessarily don't think gold is just going to drop like 20% from here and get down to like 3,200 or anything like that.
Yeah, I think this is a consolidation. Also, pay attention to the kind of huge climb. We often say that, stocks can't grow into trees and trees don't grow into the sky, right?
Yeah.
So there's bound to be...
The thing is with gold though, like you would have read recently how loads of central banks are just buying in, which of course, in addition to the retail buyers, is, you know, when you've got loads of people buying, it is good for the price.
What is interesting is that when you look at also the ETFs and you take a look at FX traders, and what they're saying is, well, that it looks like it's pointing towards profit taking and not short selling. So there is a key difference there.
Yeah,
because
of course.
you're taking some profit, but it's not a run everyone to the exit
Yeah.
crush situation. RSX saying, I remember you mentioning live that you stopped dollar cost averaging on gold. Have you started? That's a great question, because as you also heard on the show, before I went on holiday, I de-risked because I didn't want to be checking in the middle of the rainforest where there's no Wi-Fi. So I am starting to look at dollar averaging in as well, because like Mini Cooper, gold for me is a long-term
Yeah, it's a long-term thing. Yeah.
play. It's not a short-term. This is an investment, people, not a trade. Right, away from numbers, we are. Producer Phil, my goodness, look at the time.
Time flies when you're having fun, Anne.
Time does fly, we're having fun. Right, let's have a quick look at Pensana. Who is this for, Producer Phil? Funky Gibbon, good morning to you. We have Pensana, we've got only 90 seconds. You into rare earths? This...
I'm not myself, no. What about you?
I have, I love miners, as you know, and that's why one of my best mates is John Mayer, who I bring onto the show. And also I go on holiday to try and look at rare earths processing facilities. I know, tells you a lot about my life.
Yeah.
A bit boring, but you know, hey, boring is sexy, people. Pensana, what a move lower. Now, you heard me say this over and over again. Rare earths very much tied to the mood music around Trump and Xi. When Trump, the yellow man, followed me into KL airport, stalker, he did arrive in Malaysia several days after me. I fled to rainforest.
Is it yellow man or orange man?
Oh, orange, yellow, orange.
Both.
Yeah, both. He then went off to China, right? After that. The thing is, the mood music, even though they weren't looking at each other, and I watched the video if you want to have a look at their body language, but they did come off having sort of warmer mood music. So that could be in part why companies like Pensana are heading lower from a technical viewpoint. This is starting to edge past the 100 EMA. And to me, this looks like if we punch below that, then we could see price action move towards lower, towards that 200 EMA mark. So to me, this looks like sellers are still in control. Do be aware, though, that Pensana is in advanced talks with Exim for $160 million in debt funding as well. This is for the Longonjo rare earth mine. Perhaps you might want to have a closer look. If you like gold, then maybe you like that as well.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll be back with Andrew's Espresso later on, but we have Piers Buckworth first to talk about what's happening with AI and all things tech.
Do you like the sound of tax-free trading? Well, that's exactly what spread betting enables you to do. This tax-free way of trading lets you speculate on the price of over 17,000 financial instruments, like shares, indices, forex, and commodities, without actually owning them. With spread betting, you can benefit from both rising and falling prices, letting you find the perfect opportunity. So if you think the market's going up, you buy. If you think it's going down, then you can sell short. Not only is spread betting exempt from capital gains tax, but it's also commission-free. All you pay is the spread. With us, you're not alone. You're part of a wide community of traders that you can learn from. We've got the experts, the tools, and extensive educational resources to help you on your journey. If you're not quite ready to trade with real money, you can always give it a go on a demo account. Open an account today, join the conversation, and be inspired to make moves. Welcome to the Art of Investing, a brand new podcast to help you achieve your investing goals. Join me, Rich McDonald, and my co-hosts, Mark Spice Holden and Chris CJ Fellingham, every Friday when we bring you updates from the markets and insights from our combined 100 years of investing experience. If you're looking for flexible ways to trade financial markets, whether you're experienced or new to trading, you've come to the right place. CFDs let you speculate on the price of financial instruments like shares, indices, forex, and commodities without actually owning them. You can benefit from both rising and falling prices across 17,000 markets, letting you find the perfect opportunity. So if you think the market's going up, you buy. If you think it's going to go down, you sell. When trading CFDs, you're trading on leverage. Now, leverage lets you trade bigger positions with less money up front. So this increases your profits on your trades, but also remember your losses are also amplified. So be sure to manage your risk. With us, you're not alone. You're part of a wide community of traders that you can learn from. We've got the experts, the tools, and extensive educational resources to help you on your journey. If you're not quite ready to trade CFDs with real money, you can always give it a go on a demo account. Open an account today, join the conversation, and be inspired to make moves.
Hello, I'm Axel Rudolph, Senior Technical Analyst at IG and Fellow of the Society of Technical Analysts with over 30 years experience in trading the financial markets. I've been following cryptocurrencies from the very beginning, and with IG's new crypto offering, I can finally share my technical analysis expertise on crypto with you. So join me every Wednesday morning for my new show, Charting Crypto, where I'll be answering your technical analysis questions on all things crypto, live on Trade Live with IG.
Welcome back, everybody. Yes, he's made it to the studio this week. It's Piers Buckworth of Apex Alpha Trading.
Sorry about last week, mate, but
What happened?
I'm back. Train issues. You know how it is.
The grin on the face tells a whole different story. I don't think we'll ever get to the bottom of what happened last week, but let's focus on this week because there are things happening live in the market as we speak. Novo Nordisk reported numbers, and they opened down 5%.
5% down for about 12 minutes. And then I haven't looked at the latest print. Let's get that up. Where are we?
Yeah, well, should we have a look at the ADRs for me as well? So
Yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about. Look at the NVO, which is the ADR. Where's that trading? So it's just off the highs. So what's that? 95 basis points up.
Yeah,
it was
but
down 5 on the low.
So literally the rally from 805.
Yeah, just when I left the desk.
Yeah.
I checked it when I was on my Lime bike on the way here, and it was minus 4.8 when I left, and it was plus 97. Anyway, it is beautiful because this is a moment. I love these moments. It's a kitchen sink moment for a high quality company. Look at the numbers that came out today. Now, I usually get interested in these scenarios. I'm addicted to these scenarios, if I'm honest with you, with high quality companies that have had a few quarters of guidance downgrades and then the market's got it wrong. ASML was the most recent one, right? They only did 2 quarters of bad guidance. But you look what happened to ASML. The CEO said downgrading guidance got no visibility on 2026. And then 2 months later, the stock's 40% higher. Novo have got their free cash flow went up by, I think it was 20%. Big free cash flow number for them. They've got a lot of cash. They've been cutting costs dramatically, trying to get this ship steady because obviously it's under a lot of pressure on the top line. Wegovy sales were slightly lower. The guidance is +8 to +11 versus +8 to +13, +14 rather. So at the high end of the guidance, it was a miss by 3%.
Yeah.
But you take it, look, just take a snapshot of the picture. Wegovy sales, the guidance has now been downgraded 3 times in a row. Very much priced into the stock. The balance sheet is rock solid, otherwise they wouldn't be making a ridiculously aggressive bid for Metsera.
Yeah.
The cash flow situation is fantastic. They're 12 times forward earnings, and they are about to do a deal with Hims to grow Wegovy sales in America, which is actually it's quite shocking based on what they said the other day. But it's a really interesting scenario. So you throw that all into the basket, and I see a company that is massively undervalued and on its knees, and it might chop around today over the next few days. There's obviously a lot of battle going on. The analyst community have to have their say. But for me, this is an opportunity, a rare opportunity to buy a high quality company at this price.
Yeah, and this is it, right? We hear again and again that warnings come in threes, and the warning you watch out for is the one where the stock ends up on the day. So if this gives us ticks all the boxes.
If by the year it was the Americans are very active in this stock, right? It's because it's obviously got a lot. They have a big U.S. presence. They're obviously Ozempic is obviously the blockbuster drug made by Novo Nordisk, made the company in Norway essentially famous in America, and propped up the economy. So the ADR is very liquid. They're involved in a fight with Metsera and Pfizer. They're a very, very, very American stock, right? Everyone knows this stock. So let's see where it closes the day.
So let's run through this potential bid for Metsera because Pfizer need to buy it.
Pfizer need to buy it, and it's a fight, and there's a legal fight going on. And I don't know. Someone's asking me what's the story with the legal. I don't know the legality of it, but I do know that Pfizer claim that they have a right to this deal, and Novo have now outbid them twice. It's a massive bidding war for this company.
Yeah.
I find it interesting because there are some other options. We've mentioned Viking and we've mentioned Structure Therapeutics, but Metsera is one I haven't done a lot of work on. I've had to play catch up over the last few weeks, but they're bidding over $9 billion for this company, right? And listen. There's a few gold rushes going on in the world. One of them's AI, one of them's potentially quantum, and the other one is diet pills, right?
Yeah.
The leaders are Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk, and then you've got some smaller Hims, of course, involved in the game, and then there's some smaller players like Metsera, and then some pipeline guys that I mentioned just a second ago. And the bottom line is that it's a high stakes game, right? They need to secure this pipeline. Pfizer tried to do it organically and failed, so they put their flag up and said, we're not going to do this organically anymore. And then so that's why they went after Metsera. But it's critical. Like yesterday, Pfizer's numbers were quite good, right? They actually beat and raised. They've fixed the regulatory overhang. Everyone knows my view on Pfizer, I would hope. But the market wants...
Just give us a one-liner on...
there's 3 things. Number one is the technicals are just incredible. Yeah. Number 2 is the balance sheet, the valuation, the fact that they have the regulatory hurdles behind us, the positioning. That's more than 3 things. But the piece of the puzzle that's missing is GLP-1. And that wasn't missing when we last spoke. Because when we last spoke, Novo hadn't come in and bid for Met Zero.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of a confusion as to how this is going to play out, and then what happens next. And look at the way Viking trades. Every time you hear a bit of news that there's a battle over Met Zero, Viking goes up 5%. Right?
Oh, really?
It closed down yesterday, but it was up like it's a bit of a volatile stock, but it's that gap is going to be closed pretty soon, if you ask me.
Yeah, back towards the range.
Yeah, again, this is one of the most fascinating situations, which I've said many times. But there must be a reason why Novo aren't going after Viking, because they're on the same molecule, and the drug works. It's just about the dropout rate, which is side effects and so forth. So it's stage 3. We need another update, because everything I see, and they updated us the other day, and everything was okay. Plus the numbers were okay.
Ah, right.
Yeah. So
updated on financials or the
financials,
trials?
and said the trial's going ahead, and the stage 3 trials are very serious, right?
Yeah.
That means you've done 2 and you've proven yourself. You don't get to stage 3. The FDA doesn't let you get to stage 3 unless you've jumped over a number of hurdles. So it's a fascinating situation. And I'm actually long Pfizer and Novo, because both of them are high quality companies at a discount, in my view.
It's good. No, it's definitely good to chew the fat on them.
There he is. Yeah.
Right, we're going on to AMD. So results out from AMD last night. Again, Palantir we saw get smashed. We'll go into that shortly. But AMD suffering as well.
Yep. A little bit. I mean, listen, everything needs to be taken into perspective with where AMD is trading at the moment. And bearing in mind it was trading at 87 months ago, no one wanted anything to do with it. Now it's trading at 260 going into the print. And everyone's scrambling to upgrade themselves. So what I saw, listen, if you wanted to pick holes in what happened last night, the data center number was a bit light, right? The AI number, the GPU number was above, the top and bottom was above, the guidance was above, but it could have all been perfect and still sold off, because it's not that dissimilar. It's not that dissimilar in terms of the exuberance, although it is obviously. Palantir is a whole different level of exuberance, but AMD is also overcooked, right? It's not a surprise at all that it sells off. It's a relief, and I'd love it to come off some more, because I need to get my hands on some of this.
Well, that's the thing. We want
hold
to
on
buy
to
it. Right,
everyone wants the same thing. Everyone wants this market to sell off, and it might happen. It might not. Listen, the close last night was semi-ugly. Look at these retail names which I've been banging on about for months. OKLO, Rigetti, Poet, you name the ones that every retail person comes and says, what do you think about this stock, this stock, this stock? You can predict exactly the questions you're going to be asked. Every single one of those stocks is being hammered.
And that's because now you are speaking directly to retail through your TikTok, aren't you?
I am, and it's fascinating actually, because you get such an insight to what these people are thinking and doing. And actually, do you know what? On my TikTok, I have obviously been talking about for weeks the need for a sell-off in semiconductors and Palantir and quantum and all these areas. And there's the odd person who just who just wants to be a dick and just chimes in, right?
Yeah.
But in general, an overwhelming majority of the retail community are completely agree and are kind of positioning for it as well, which is interesting, which does also explains the price action, right? That buy the dip mentality in all these same names is kind of receding a bit, and I can guarantee you that the professionals aren't going to be buying a dip in Rigetti. So,
oh no, what's the level in AMD that we watch?
So anyway, so back to AMD. So listen, it's such a difficult question, Rich, because if this market gets whacked, it's very vulnerable right now, right?
Yeah.
Look at the price.
It really is.
It can just it can collapse in a second. Who knows what that catalyst is going to be? It might not happen, but
we just had an announcement from
we just
China.
had the China thing. Everyone thinks that the China-US scenario is all cozy right now, but it's never cozy, ever. No matter what anyone says, there is a tech war going on between these two countries, and it's high stakes because the Chinese desperately want to be able to make their own chips and power their own data centers, and they're and power their own smartphones, but they're hostage to NVIDIA and to Qualcomm, and no matter what they say, they are still hostage to these companies. They have some. It looks like they have the technology to get in the game.
Yeah.
Today they've said all existing data center projects can only use domestic chips. It sounds like hot air to me because, quite frankly, from which company, what chips, I don't know about.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show you that and also you put that in alongside what happened on what was it, Monday, Tuesday, where Trump's team said to him, "I don't agree with you giving Jensen, your new best friend Jensen won a free pass in China. I think you should stick to what your plan is, which is restricting what chips can be sold to China. So you put this all into the cocktail, and the US-China tech scenario is red hot war,
Yeah.
and that's not a surprise. It's been that way for a long time.
Yeah.
So
Which you could tell between, a Trump Xi meeting wasn't like Trump's other meetings on trade deals where it's all happy, jokey, shake hands. Xi said, I'm here to do the deal, and let's do the deal.
Yeah, listen, I don't think there's Trump can say whatever he wants about how he's got respect for Xi, and he probably has got respect for Xi actually. But this is a really, really serious scenario between these two countries. They both want to win. They both have to win. Whoever wins the tech war basically controls the world, right? Yeah. So, and let's not be under any illusions about how serious that is. Yeah. So whether it's that or whether it's the government shutdown turning into a bigger problem, we're meant to be getting labour market data today from the ADP, and then on Friday, who knows whether we're going to get that. We haven't got a clue what the labour market data is. No. Not every, your average TikTok person will come back and say that's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. The Nasdaq only ever goes up, and you go ding. Well, that's an alarm bell.
Let's have a look at the facts behind that. There it is from the April lows. So you can see David Solomon overnight saying, yeah, sure, we expect to see a 10 to 20% correction in the market at some point. We just don't know when it's going to be, right? That's the CEO of Goldman's telling you that a correction is coming.
And also saying he's got no idea when it's coming.
Yeah.
Right? It could be I think he gave it a window of 18 months. So
right.
It's not exactly very helpful.
Nice. Yeah, it could be from anywhere.
Thanks, mate.
But what about the leverage in the system? Oh,
can I take that call? Actually, really important person calling me, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Right, let's go to a break for 1 minute. We'll be back. Get Piers to take the phone call. We'll see you in 1 minute. If you're looking for flexible ways to trade financial markets, whether you're experienced or new to trading, you've come to the right place. CFDs let you speculate on the price of financial instruments like shares, indices, forex, and commodities without actually owning them. You can benefit from both rising and falling prices across 17,000 markets, letting you find the perfect opportunity. So if you think the market's going up, you buy. If you think it's going to go down, you sell. When trading CFDs, you're trading on leverage. Now, leverage lets you trade bigger positions with less money up front. So this increases your profits on your trades, but also remember your losses are also amplified. So be sure to manage your risk. With us, you're not alone. You're part of a There you go, live television. Only this man, I would cut a broadcast so we could take a phone call. So we're just about to take a look at the Nasdaq and talk about the leverage in the system, because that is becoming a problem. We've seen it in crypto world in the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, so listen, and the leverage in the system is something that I think it's critical for everyone who loves to watch markets and wants to know more about them, needs to understand it. I get questions about why is crypto doing this and why is doing that, and it's all the same trade. All of the leverage, which is margin to trading accounts, CFD accounts, whatever it may be, hugely retail heavy, of course, and it's all the same stuff. It doesn't matter whether it's crypto, Bitcoin, it doesn't matter whether it's quantum, all these things, right? Look at yesterday. Yesterday we had Bank of America and Apple, just to pick two high quality companies that are not retail, not crowded. Well, Bank of America might be semi-crowded, but high quality companies that are completely out of the spotlight of this speculative stuff going on in this market. Both of them making all-time highs, not even remotely moving. Apple closed green at an all-time high yesterday, I think, if I'm not wrong. And meanwhile, you're getting a complete hosing of all these areas that have a lot of leverage and speculation in them. Yeah. It's very healthy. All right. If the market's not healthy, Bank of America and Apple will be down for no reason whatsoever. Hard.
So we look at that compared with Rigetti, and you'll see the huge difference there. Where am I? Rigetti.
I've turned the echo off, guys. Sorry.
Yes.
Right, where are we? I'd be fascinated to. We'll talk about Palantir. Is that Rigetti? So I can't see the ticker.
Yeah, that is Rigetti, exactly. So we've come down from 57 euros, $57
dollars.
down to 35.
Yep.
So that is a bubble bursting, right?
But kind of, yeah. I mean, but it depends on the tape. If the tape continues, it's all about the tape. The stocks are irrelevant. It's just the same trade, right? If we're in risk-off mode, if we're in the current version of risk-off mode, all these stocks, OKLO is another one, right? And I've got a sheet actually of the valuations, and I've got a friend of mine did it for me yesterday. It's got the 12 most talked about tech companies in the world, right? Gross margins, price to sales, price to earnings, and he put red lines through 3 of them in terms of just how ridiculous the valuations are.
Right.
And out of the top, I think it was 15. Tesla, Rigetti, OKLO. Those are the 3.
The top 3.
On all the metrics. Right.
So, and sorry, I'm just showing that it's not just quantum computing.
Sorry,
it's also
Palantir.
rare
Sorry, I
earths.
meant Palantir.
Well, that's where I was. Yeah. So it's not just quantum computing that was the bubble. It was also MP Materials down 50%.
Yeah. Well, there we
from its
go.
highs.
And also they had a double whammy because obviously they were benefiting from the war with China.
Yeah.
So, but listen, all these things.
Palantir.
These things can bounce, but they can also continue lower. This is the thing. They don't have any revenue. There's nothing. It's a zero. Right, Palantir has revenue,
Yes.
but not enough. And it's going to be fascinating to see how this plays out. Listen, I have been wrong on this stock. I'm the first one to put my hands up and say that. I gave up the fight about however many weeks ago it
About
was.
3 weeks ago, yeah.
3 weeks ago, I gave up the fight, and then I put it back on again before the earnings. So I feel somewhat vindicated, but I'm still offside if you add it all up over the last 3 or 4 months. But at least now the market is kind of coming over to my side of the thinking. Michael Burry got a lot of headlines. No surprises there that he's got a huge put position. The guy's a perma bear, but his argument's somewhat valid. It's pretty ballsy what he's doing, but that got a lot of airtime. And then just the analyst community, right? The argument about this stock. I watched the CNBC, the post-earnings debate on CNBC. They had 2 bulls and 2 bears having an argument with each other. And the best argument that the bulls come up with was that the US government are going to take a stake in them. I was like, are you serious?
the argument.
Is that the argument? Are you serious? Like, first of all, if they take a stake in them, who cares? They took a stake in Intel, and the Intel rallied and then collapsed. The only reason why they went up again is because Nvidia and SoftBank took a stake in them. Nothing to do with the American.
And plus, they
governments.
needed the cash. This thing is flown off free cash flow, right?
Correct.
Now, Dan Ives' argument was that this thing could throw off $8 billion of free cash flow by 2027, right? Currently 2.
Yep.
It makes about 2 billion.
Yep.
Well, it doesn't matter because the market cap is 400. So if you put the 8, you're talking about a free cash flow yield below that of a Microsoft or a Meta. Right, and we know that Meta's free cash flow yield has been dropping anyway because, of course, they're ramping up the capex. So this dream of 2027 that
that's fine. Okay, that's one. That's a nice little argument to make. But what about he refuses to? Well, no one asks him, which frustrates the hell out of me. Why can't someone ask him? At what point are the sales? Or the top and bottom line. Sorry, I always go about price to sales. Let's deal with the 420 price to earnings ratio, right? At what point is the top and the bottom line going to justify where it's trading? At what point? And it's going to be at least triple digits growth on both lines. Yeah. When is that happening and how is that happening? RBC, who are the Lone Ranger down at 45, right? His argument, and by the way, everyone knows that's where it should be trading. Everyone.
Yeah.
I reckon when you have a chat in a dark corner with Dan Ives, he'd tell you that too. Right?
Yes.
But the question is
that where you were last Wednesday?
Yeah, exactly. Gosh, you'd be able to see him, wouldn't you, with those shirts on?
Yeah.
But the point is that when is this going to happen? Because they can get around. And yesterday, Morgan Stanley and Truist, I always mispronounce that broker, upgraded after the earnings, upgraded by $19 or $22. The best they could come up with was 195 and 205 or whatever it is. But I read the report, and at no point in the report did it say how they're justifying that number.
No.
Zero. Like, you have to say, at this point in time, this is going to happen, and therefore the sales are going to go to here.
Exactly.
Or they'll have a
I believe there's
ChatGPT.
an explosion of contracts in 2020.
ChatGPT will happen, and your earnings will go up 400% overnight. Your name is Nvidia, and therefore you're cheap. When's that happening? I can't, and no one can answer that question. So until someone can answer that question,
It's on Palantir. It's a beware of buying the dip. Is our strong message.
Well,
beware, because 186 is still. You need 63%.
Beware of sell the rally too. This stock is
63% revenue growth for the next 3 years. Brings you down to 25 times sales, right?
Yep.
That's what you need. The predictions are 34%, not 63% revenue growth. So it is still a be careful. However, is Meta a buy?
Well, Meta. Someone just asked me about Meta. Should we talk about Meta quickly?
Yeah.
I actually did a TikTok video on this yesterday. Listen, can I just put to bed some misunderstandings about this company, and let's make something crystal clear.
Okay.
In 2022, yes, all of the tech universe sold off because of the inflation and macro environment. We all know that. But Meta gapped down 22% on their earnings, and the reason why they did that is because on the conference call, Zuckerberg said we're spending $15 billion next quarter on the metaverse.
Yes.
And everyone went, no thanks, we don't like that idea. Goodbye.
$98.
And they went all the way down to $90 on the low. In a bad market, sure, but they literally destroyed the value of the company. Goodbye. It's happened before.
I was in Medellin when that happened. I remember listening to the podcast discussion on it.
So this is different but similar, and what I mean by that is there's a lot going on, right? We had they issued a bond, they took a big tax hit one off. The numbers were good, but they did the capex at the same time. So you can spin this story however you want, but one thing you cannot deny, and the professional world are talking about, is that Meta have lost control of their capex again and lost control of the narrative again, and they keep randomly hiring people, and it's quite frantic what they're doing. It's just what typical to Zuckerberg. And every now and then the market loses faith in him and what they're doing and hammers them, and there's no bid for this company. But my point is it's trading at a 23 RSI, and from a technical perspective, let me be very clear, a short-term bounce technical perspective only, it is very much. In fact, is this the chart? Is this it right now?
This is the chart right now.
It's still red.
But
Where
can I just say, Piers Buckworth, I watched your TikTok last night and I saw your 24 RSI that you went out on yesterday.
Yeah.
And that's what that little white dot is there.
No,
How about that for a purchase at $617? That's me. So thank you very much.
That's
my interest.
That's awesome, mate. What a level.
Only 30 shares.
Hang on a sec. Can I just check something? What is that? Is that minus 16 basis points? Is that what it says?
That is what it is today. Yeah. From 9 p.m. last night.
Yeah, no, because I was just checking. It was up 50 basis points when I left it.
Right.
Look, listen. So the answer to the question, anyone who wants to know what I think about Meta, this company is under a lot of pressure. If zoom out on the chart, anyone who thinks there's been a dip in this stock, it's just nothing. This stock is up 400%. What is it? 500% or something? So it's up an enormous amount.
Zoom out
right?
on that.
Yes, it can keep going lower. Yes, the technicals on it are shocking. It could easily go to 500, right? But my point is that from an RSI point of view, and I do like trading extreme RSI when it gets really extreme. 85 and 25 are my numbers, right?
Yeah.
There will be a short-term tradable bounce in this stock, but that's all I have to say about it.
Right. AppLovin
numbers are tonight. I need to double check that. Sorry.
Yeah, just incidentally, if you are watching on TikTok, we're live on Trade Live with IG on YouTube. So come to YouTube, Trade Live with IG. If you're a first-time viewer, Piers comes every Wednesday when he makes it in from the trains.
Every now and then.
And so if you subscribe, then you'll see more of him, and you'll see also the videos as well. So subscribe to the channel Trade Live with IG on YouTube. AppLovin tonight. What do you think?
Is it tonight? Trying to get information right. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't really have a strong view on it, to be honest with you guys. This is a battleground stock, although it's part of the PARC acronym. For those of you who don't know what everyone knows what Mag7 is and FAN used to be. This PARC is Palantir, AppLovin, what did I say? PARC, Coinbase, and Robinhood, of course. Sorry.
Yeah.
So those are the 4 most actively sort of semi-large cap liquid retail stocks. Not just retail. AppLovin's a hedge fund hotel. There's loads of hedge funds that love this stock. Listen, they're an exciting company. They're growing fast. They're right in the sweet spot of AI advertising, and which is obviously a big growth market. They're a good company.
But no strong feel.
I don't have a strong view.
Right, let's move on to Robinhood then, because we're running out of time here. I want to get through as many as possible.
Robinhood, again, I don't have a strong feel. Robinhood, for me, trades is a very... can you bring up the chart quickly?
It's interesting.
Listen, this is a crypto stock at the end of the day, right? Although not quite as crypto as it should be. But
it actually trades incredibly in line with Palantir.
Yeah,
on a percentage.
Well, there we go. And they're in the same... They're in that acronym basket I just gave you, right?
Yeah.
And all these stocks, it's so robotic, the way that these stocks work. They're all part of the same buy program, just the way all the other ones were. So what do I think about Robinhood? They're a great company, right? They've surprised a lot of people since the IPO. When they IPO'd, everyone was like, how are they going to make any money? This is a bit of a joke. Ultimately, it's going to be a meme stock. Yeah. And Vlad has basically gone from that moment to now being a regular on CNBC. He's a smart guy. People respect him. He's got a banking license. He's got margins kicking in. He's got growth kicking in. He's obviously got a huge amount of volume. He's got the crypto angle to it as well. And he makes money on the buy and the sell. Yeah. So it's a great company. It's expensive. It's part of the cohort that I just mentioned of the 4. And I need none of those 4 I want to be buying right now. Because it's just my nature. I will. If I see Robinhood hammered at some point, I'll go, okay, maybe I'll get some of that now. But that's just me.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I'm short the 180 calls, and they are 160 calls. Sorry, they're paying nicely so far. Okay, so just your thinking at the moment is Novo's interests you, especially after this morning. Pfizer is just your plain and simple. That's your
Pfizer's also
pension kind of stock.
It is as well, and also it's also just such a relaxing stock to hold on to in a bad market. I hope. Let's see what happens to it today.
Yeah. We'll take a really quick check on the all sessions, of course, because all sessions gives us exactly.
Well, there we go. Thank God. Palantir down 1. Is that down 1.5? 1.9. Beautiful.
Yeah. Now
I think this is my point. This can. It was a big technical level that Palantir fought with yesterday, and it's gone through it now. And listen, this stock needs to be slaughtered just once. Okay, it's fine. It can come back, but it's.
So I put it on a 50% increase in revenues, right, for the next 3 years.
Okay.
Right, and then brought
that's
that
fair.
back.
But that's fair.
That's it's the right price.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's 20, and then put it on 25 times sales in 3 years' time. So that is making it in line with where Snowflake is today, right? Multiples in 3 years' time should be much lower.
That's
But
its closest comp, yep.
that's its closest comp, and it gives you a price of $141 is where it should be trading today. That is where Goldman Sachs are with their target price.
Well, there we go, and that's the number. And by the way, the market is very irrational in the short term. In the long term, it will end up there if that's the number, right? That's something that at least, the irrationality of markets lasts so much longer than it should do, and it can become so ridiculous that you get lost and think it's never going to change. But if you look back on this company in 10 years' time, if it hasn't delivered, it will be trading where it should be trading. That's just a fact.
Agreed. Last one to check, Uber.
Great one to finish on. What a great company. I think you would be hard pushed to find a company that's got 20% revenue growth and trading on 15 times forward earnings at this market cap anywhere in the world. So it was a classic. This earnings season is all about selling the news, right? Even if it's good news. And that's because that's the stage of the market we're at. It's healthy. I don't know why people even ask questions. I mean, look at the chart, look at the stock. It's not exactly, it's a bit of a choppy company. Again, I put this in the same basket as Robinhood. When it started, everyone was like, how are they going to make any money? How are they going to be good? Yeah. Fast forward now, they're a highly profitable company, a cheap company, quite crowded to a degree, but I've never owned it before. I got my attention elsewhere, but it's a high quality company, and it's cheap.
And you've just discovered line bikes recently.
And I have discovered line bikes, which I think are really helpful. So yeah.
Good stuff. Right, we're looking forward to NVIDIA earnings on the 19th.
Yes.
That's the next big catalyst.
That's the big one. And yeah, that's going to be interesting. Listen, it's going to be depending on what happens between now and then. If the heat gets taken out of it, that'll help them enormously. If they go into it like Palantir, the same result,
Yeah.
in my view.
Stacko asking, how do you come up with price through revenue growth? What you do is you say, right, what multiple should this be trading on in a normal world in 3 years' time? 25 times sales.
Which one?
Palantir. So to get to 25 times sales,
You'll have to have at least 40% revenue growth.
well, that's, yeah. So that's, you extrapolate, right, what is today's, what multiple does it have to be on today to get to 25 times in 3 years' time? And then what price does that give you on today's revenues? Last thing, where do people find more of Piers Buckworth? God help us all.
Is that a question?
That is a question.
Is that a real question? Substack. Come into my Substack. I've got 400 and however many people it is, and it's a great community. And
Explain what Substack is to people.
Substack is it's an app. It's a platform for publishing. It can be used for multiple purposes. I'm using it as a private community of people who love markets and want to learn about markets, and where I can do. I've loved teaching people. I've discovered that I've got a true passion for it, quite frankly. And everyone who I've got in my group, they're all great people, and some of them are from all different walks of life. But there's one common theme: everyone loves the markets and wants to learn more about being good at it. And it's private, it's safe, over the paywall, away from all these scammers, and it's just 24/7. I literally. I never stop, and it's fun. But if you're a market addict and you want to learn more, come in.
And if people, Substack is a bit alien to them, they can find you on TikTok.
Well, if you go to my bio on TikTok and just press the link, the link tree link, it'll take you straight to the Substack link, and then you're in. And
Brilliant.
Jacob will help you out if.
Speaker, the devil, there is Jacob. Substack
There he is, the big boy.
Alive with Piers.
Oh, that's true. Tomorrow night I'm doing a live at 6:30 GMT as my head of operations. Jacob has just mentioned.
Oh, that's perfect, because all the paint will be dry on my wall by then. So
There he is. So anyway, anyone who wants to know more, that'll be tomorrow night. Oh, there it is. Go Jacob, what a hero.
good stuff. Right, everybody, thank you very much for joining us. Give us a subscribe on the channel on YouTube there. And then coming up next, Andrew Webley of Smarter Web Company, and we'll be finding out the answers from Andrew on strategy going forward. Join us shortly. Welcome to the Art of Investing, a brand new podcast to help you achieve your investing goals.
And I've seen at first hand the power of the wealth creation that one has been able to obtain from this industry. What we're going to do is we're going to put it into action by creating our own model portfolio.
We're going to be talking about the big indices that are around the world, because that is probably some of the safest ways for you to invest your money.
We need to bring this to everybody and help them then take control of their own investment story.
Join me, Rich McDonald, and my co-hosts Mark Spice Holden and Chris C.J. Fellingham every Friday when we bring you updates from the markets and insights from our combined 100 years of investing experience.
Hello, I'm Axel Rudolph, Senior Technical Analyst at IG and Fellow of the Society of Technical Analysts with over 30 years experience in trading the financial markets. I've been following cryptocurrencies from the very beginning, and with IG's new crypto offering, I can finally share my technical analysis expertise on crypto with you. So join me every Wednesday morning for my new show, Charting Crypto, where I'll be answering your technical analysis questions on all things crypto, live on Trade Live with IG.
And we have not long, but so we're going to get through a very, very fast preview of what is going to come. I've got SWC, of course, waiting in the wings. Just checking on Robinhood. I know you talked about it already. That's reporting. Also, you heard Piers talking about AppLovin as well. And Robinhood just telling you that this, I am hoping for good things. I entered at 124. It's now at around 137. So I'll be watching that for you with a BDI. Any of you have positions on Robinhood too, let me know. Analysts forecasting revenues of $1.2 billion there. For more on the tech stuff, I have also written a report and a story on whether or not this is the beginnings, the cracks of a bubble or not. And producer Phil is going to slam that into the chat for you. Bringing up Andrew's Market Espresso, where we get you your morning shot of what's ahead. Keep an eye on Qualcomm because it's all about tech. Qualcomm expected to report Q4 sales jump thanks to this rise in global smartphone demand. That is expected to be good for Qualcomm because it means increased demand in its chips. Also, we've got McDonald's. I was going to talk about this with Mini Cooper earlier on, but all your questions, which came thick and fast, kept us very, very, very busy this morning. McDonald's, this is the Andrew's Market Espresso there, if you want to snapshot that. McDonald's is also set to post a jump in sales. This is for the third quarter. And keep an eye out on what it says about, its combo meals, which have been aimed at the lower end of the market because it wants to make it more affordable. Any news on whether or not the lower income consumer maintains its appetite for McDonald's and a tough restaurant setting? Those of you that travel a lot like myself will know that it's not just about high inflation, but also in some places around the world, people are not wanting to eat at McDonald's because of the orange man. Also, payment trends. Take a look at that as well, whether the constant move at McDonald's trying to get everyone, including those in Southeast Asia, to also start using the contactless terminals that you see across here in the UK already, whether or not that is impacting sales in countries where they're used to humans still being at the tills. Limited time offers, they've been pushing that as well, and the pricing strategy for the year ahead. Last but not least, you hear me talk about this all the time because it is a space that I am very interested in as Monkey Man, RSAX, all of you know. Obesity drugs, are you loving it too much? That is the question. Obesity drug M&A, you heard Rich talk about, Pfizer, Novo Nordisk, and the fight for Metsera. So Metsera, just going to zoom in for you. Metsera is, of course, this drug developer that Pfizer and Novo Nordisk have been in talks with, reportedly. Both companies have apparently submitted sweetened bids, with Metsera saying Novo's $10 billion offer is superior. And I get questions from Dom, call out to Dom in the gallery about this all the time. It's all about swooping in and bolstering your portfolio with something that you do not have. For those of you, just because I've got very little time left, but I'm going to give you the secret sauce here, the secret sauce that is not going to make you need obesity drugs. You might say, oh, Ange, I've already missed the boat. Let's have a look at Metsera for you. I've already missed the boat. I missed the party. However, it's got to be in 30 seconds. Here's the secret sauce. You haven't missed the boat because if you look at companies like Viking Therapeutics, you heard myself and Julian talk about this here. If there is a deal, then Viking Therapeutics is likely to jump because Viking is also seen as a takeover target. There's also Structure Therapeutics, which also tends to have a bounce every time we see some positive mood music surrounding Metsera. So you have not missed the boat. And there you have it in 30 seconds. Stay right there because we have SWC coming up next.
Do you like the sound of tax-free trading? Well, that's exactly what spread betting enables you to do. This tax-free way of trading lets you speculate on the price of over 17,000 financial instruments, like shares, indices, forex, and commodities without actually owning them. With spread betting, you can benefit from both rising and falling prices, letting you find the perfect opportunity. So if you think the market's going up, you buy. If you think it's going down, then you can sell short. Not only is spread betting exempt from capital gains tax, but it's also commission free. All you pay is the spread. With us, you're not alone. You're part of a wide community of traders that you can learn from. We've got the experts, the tools, and extensive educational resources to help you on your journey. If you're not quite ready to trade with real money, you can always give it a go on a demo account. Open an account today, join the conversation, and be inspired to make moves. Welcome to the Art of Investing, a brand new podcast to help you achieve your investing goals. Join me, Rich McDonald, and my co-hosts, Mark Spice Holden and Chris CJ Fellingham, every Friday when we bring you updates from the markets and insights from our combined 100 years of investing experience. If you're looking for flexible ways to trade financial markets, whether you're experienced or new to trading, you've come to the right place. CFDs let you speculate on the price of financial instruments like shares, indices, forex, and commodities without actually owning them. You can benefit from both rising and falling prices across 17,000 markets, letting you find the perfect opportunity. So if you think the market's going up, you buy. If you think it's going to go down, you sell. When trading CFDs, you're trading on leverage. Now, leverage lets you trade bigger positions with less money up front. So this increases your profits on your trades, but also remember your losses are also amplified. So be sure to manage your risk. With us, you're not alone. You're part of a wide community of traders that you can learn from. We've got the experts, the tools, and extensive educational resources to help you on your journey. If you're not quite ready to trade CFDs with real money, you can always give it a go on a demo account. Open an account today, join the conversation, and be inspired to make moves. Welcome back, everybody, and our friend of the show, Andrew Webley from Smarter Web Company, joining us. Andrew, welcome back.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Slightly different studio this time, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah,
Looks great.
We've
good job.
We got the brick wall in and the comfier chairs,
And they are comfy.
and they are comfy. But you're probably not quite as comfy yourself as you were last time sitting here. Remind us, the very first time you were in a studio, I think the market cap was about £20 million. And how many Bitcoin did you have at that point?
Very, very few. So today we've got over 2,500 Bitcoin. And this is, just under 6 months from when I was here last time. We've been listed for just over 6 months now. So, it's been quite the ride, 2 months of, the share price going vertical. And then obviously 4 months where it's been under more pressure.
Yeah, I think it's probably the greatest example we've seen of the company doesn't set the share price, right?
Very, very much so. And also the disconnect between a company and its share price, because today the company looks better, stronger, we're busier, etc., etc. And the share price has obviously been on a downtrend for 4 months. So Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah. If anybody looked at the company in isolation, right? If other companies' chart looked like this, we'd think, oh my goodness, what's happened? Has there been a profit warning? You know, what's gone on? But as we can see from the slide, it's happened to the whole industry, hasn't it? Really, if we take us through the 4 different share prices.
Yeah, so just a disclaimer, I hold all of these shares. You know, you've got the Smarter Web share price, so you can see, you know, it sort of, you know, touched £5 and is now closer to 50p. You can see Metaplanet, which is sort of the number 2 in the world, I suppose. You can see that their price has gone through a similar, you know, extreme contraction. You can see Capital B, which is a great French company, you know, the biggest Bitcoin treasury company, about the same size as us in Europe. You can see the same again, and then the axes on the timescales slightly out on the strategy one, but you can see a similar, albeit less extreme, because they're much, much bigger. So yeah, it's certainly not isolated down to us, and every single one of these companies, in my opinion, has been improving the strength of the company over that time period alongside that.
Yeah, and it's not just the share price, is it? It's the MNAVs as well. I think the viewers are all, you know, au fait with the MNAV story. We saw the huge increase up to, realistically anything above 10 was sort of getting into maybe a little bit of fantasy land, but it's the contraction from 4 down to where we are today that's maybe caught people off guard. Is there any reason that you can put your finger on of why we've seen a global contraction in MNAVs?
Yeah, so I think, you know, in my opinion, markets are always priced wrong. So they're either too expensive or too cheap, you know, overpriced or underpriced. You know, if you look at our company, for example, so in the current quarter, which we're 1 month into it, we've delivered 1.74 Bitcoin yield, which is the compound Bitcoin. In the previous quarter, we delivered approximately 300%.
Yeah.
Strategy is a good example. This year to date, they're delivering almost 30% Bitcoin yield. Still very, very impressive if you compare that to, you know, like a traditional interest rate or something. Yeah. Now, in my opinion, if you look at us, you know, we're priced at 0.8. So we're priced 20% cheaper approximately than the actual value of our Bitcoin. For a business that's demonstrating that they're improving their Bitcoin yield. So we're probably the only one actually out of the bunch. Strategy's about a 1.3, Metaplanet's about a 1, Capital B's about a 1.5. We're 0.8, fully diluted MNAV. So it's just the way the market's gone. They're all, in my opinion, underpriced now, and perhaps they were a bit overpriced.
I mean, you would say that, right? Yeah. But if we take strategy out of it, let's say then Metaplanet, Capital B are trading at 1, which is, the equity is purely a representation of the Bitcoin that are currently held. And, yes. And that's it. You may as well buy Bitcoin, is what the market is saying. However, at 0.8 or 0.82, what's going on there? How can SWC be trading at a discount? Because surely, in theory, I know you would be very hesitant to, but in theory, you just sell all your Bitcoin on the market and you give the shareholders back their cash, and a company would be worth, 0.99, say.
Yeah, so, us selling any of our Bitcoin would be an extreme last result. That would be, pretty much, give up type territory, which, we'll probably never do. But you're right, yeah. It's as simple as that. The reason why you don't do that is that the strategy that we're on for the years to come, you need size. So if we're going to do some of the things that we want to do in the coming years, we need size of balance sheet. Yes, ignoring the fact that I believe Bitcoin's the very best asset in the world and we're just priced wrong, then you wouldn't look to reduce the size of your balance sheet, because then you're impeding on your future strategy goals. And
your fundamental review remains that you would much rather be in Bitcoin than you would in fiat. So your share price is in fiat currency.
Yeah, 100%. So Bitcoin, and one of the reasons why I think you've seen this compression of the global MNAVs is that Bitcoin has disappointed too many new people this year. People that don't understand it, people that have literally just got into it, all Bitcoin treasury companies. Yeah. So if you look at Bitcoin year to date, it's probably showing a gain of something like 5%. We believe that Bitcoin will probably do approximately 30% every year. If you look at the last couple of years, there's been one bad year, most years over 100%. So this year, Bitcoin hasn't delivered, taking this year purely
It's taking a breath.
Exactly.
It's bizarre to see the movement in gold relative to Bitcoin. So it's been the more traditional safe haven, but fiat currency has definitely depreciated. So there's still that running theme.
Well, there's a good link if you look at the last run up in gold, and then you look at when that dipped, and then you look at what Bitcoin did next. That's a good one for your viewers to have a look at on the charts. That was incredible. Bitcoin ripped once gold started to dip.
Okay. So I guess the question being, right, is what options change from when you were trading at a 3 times MNAV? It was very simple. You were doing the ATM, you were doing raisings, issuing more shares and buying Bitcoin. When you're trading at a discount to MNAV, how does the strategy change and what options are open to you?
Yeah, so we had all these conversations with people right at the start because clearly, the current situation was something that you plan for.
Yep.
And you do have options. That's the first thing to say. So the simplest one, which is an option, it's not the best option, but it is an option, is you do nothing. The thing that everyone also needs to remember is that we are quite restricted on what we can say. So, just to get that disclaimer out there as well, but in simple terms, not making any specific timing or strategy calls right now, your options are you can effectively borrow money. So you can borrow money that doesn't convert into equity, and you can take a view of how much you should borrow relative to your balance sheet and how you're going to structure that in terms of the interest repayments and potentially the capital repayments. And then you can use that to create pretty significant Bitcoin yield, actually, providing the long-term view, over years, not days, of Bitcoin is what we all believe. So that's one thing that you can do.
So that's just very simple debt that is collateralized by 220 million pounds of, or 200 million pounds?
Yeah, approximately 210, 215, using the current valuation of Bitcoin. So you could quite easily, I'm not saying that you would, I personally think this would be probably too high. You could probably borrow over 100 million pounds if you wanted. I think the right number for something like that is probably closer to, say, 30 to 50. And that still allows a large amount to be borrowed if you wanted to do that. Not saying we will, but also if Bitcoin had a terrible year or two, you're probably looking at sort of 15,000 Bitcoin in terms of when that would potentially become a problem. But there are other options. So if you were, say...
So can I just ask, what's the approximate interest rate on that ballpark?
I wouldn't want to say, but I think you would be in the UK, I think if you were guessing somewhere between... sort of 6 and 10, it's probably
it's high single figures.
Sort of mid to high single figures. Which if you believe in assets going up by 30% a year, high single figures isn't that bad. And if you look at strategy with their prefs paying 10%, we can effectively borrow money cheaper than Sailor can borrow it. So high single figures isn't bad.
So then if you're trading at a 20% discount to MNAV, then isn't the loan better to buy shares back rather than buying more Bitcoin? So, because we know the ATM is one way to buy more Bitcoin and finance that when you're above MNAV, but when you're below, then you're buying discounted Bitcoin essentially.
So with the loan, you can basically buy Bitcoin or you can buy shares. That's the two crude options there. In the same way as other things would allow you to do one of those things. The bit you can do the maths on that. But the one thing that the maths doesn't tell you is the medium to long-term direction of the company, which is growing the balance sheet to allow you to do preference shares rather than debt. Because the one thing about preference shares is that it's permanent capital. So with preference shares, you have to convince someone to lend you the money on that day. And you have to, structure the payments in such a way that they're happy. The day after they lend you the money, because the Bitcoin isn't collateralized, it's a completely different structure to if you borrow money and you have to convince that person forever that you're good for the money. That's the one difference with a preference, broadly speaking, the one difference with a preference share that I don't think a lot of people understand. It's permanent capital that once you've convinced them to lend you the money, then, it's as simple as that.
And where does that share sit compared with an ordinary share then?
So they would have more rights, effectively, or effectively in terms of the capital structure on the assets of the business. Should the worst happen, so you'd make them senior in that regard. But you can also make different preference shares at different levels on the cap table as well. Okay,
so that's one option. So there's pure debt from a financial institution. There's a preference share.
Yep.
The smarter bond was last time that we spoke. Smarter bond seemed great at the time, but it hasn't really, sort of taken off.
Yes, we've only done one round so far, and we've got other people that are interested in doing that. But if I'm honest about it, I don't know why there's not more demand for it than we've seen, because it is a great product with almost no downside for the investor. I think one of the problems, or one of the bits of feedback that I had from somebody who's got an awful lot of Bitcoin, is they weren't keen on effectively crystallizing the tax event, in terms of when the Bitcoin sort of converts into equity, and that dilutes their side of things. But it's a fantastic product. I was actually thinking this morning for myself, actually, that I might do Smarter Convert myself,
right?
Because it is such a great way. But I think for myself, when we come out of the closed period, I think it's more appropriate to do the equity to put myself on the same terms. But I was thinking this morning, I was thinking, I've got this Bitcoin, why don't I just stick it into the company? Because it's such a good product. But there are other options as well that you can do in terms of you can do option strategies and things like that. So there are plenty of options when you're below a 1M NAV.
Yeah, so it's really, when you're trading at below 1M NAV, and we know we've spoken about this morning already, there seems to be some kind of strain in financing in crypto world at the moment.
Yes.
When that happens, you have to sell what you can sell, right? So if there's a investor that SWC is their liquid thing, but it does seem to be a daily event that somebody's there selling. Now, of course, I worried at one point it was the ATM.
Yep.
But you've said you'll be disciplined about the ATM. Where does that sit? What are you judging on an MNAV, or how are you judging where to operate it?
Well, so our partner operates the ATM, and to date, I've been delighted with how they've done it. They've not put a foot wrong, as far as I'm concerned.
Good.
And I would imagine what they would do is they would sell at a premium above a 1M NAV.
Okay.
Because it wouldn't make any sense to sell the shares below a 1. You know, that would be terrible for the shareholders.
Yeah.
So you just wouldn't do it. But then you wouldn't sell them bang on a 1 either, because you've got a tiny amount of commission that goes to them. You've got a tiny amount of costs when you buy Bitcoin. You've got the volatility in between when you sell the shares and when you buy the Bitcoin. So you would probably, if you were really keen on generating money through the ATM, you'd probably do it at a 5%. You would
at least 105.
Like 10% would probably be more sensible, and then obviously the higher the better.
Okay.
If you look at the most recent update that we did, where there was a tiny amount, 0.3 million, raised, I think that was something like 68p.
68,
which is considerably above the share price at the time. So if we look back at the ATM, since it started, I think it's fairly evident that it's been a very beneficial thing for the company. Approximately 25% of our capitals come from the ATM.
Wow, is it as much as 25%? That's incredible.
Yeah.
So it really, because it is perplexing to people. I mean, we look at it now and we're trading at 43 to 45 pence, and we think the MNAV is roughly where then?
Just below 60, I'd say. It's on the analytics page on our website. From memory, maybe 57, 58.
So do you have any feel who's liquidating below that that sort of 60p then?
No, so we look at all the different stats, and we speak to market makers both in the UK and in the US to try and find out if there's any particular pockets.
Yeah.
And sometimes we find out that there might be a big seller, from the UK or from the US, for example. The two biggest holders, which is the UTXO fund, and myself and my wife clearly neither of those have sold anything.
Yeah.
And that equates to about 25% of the equity. One thing that we believe is that the Bitcoin treasury companies as a proper sector is a new sector as of this year, even though you've got strategy that's been around for over 5 years. And that view is shared by Saylor as well, in the sense that this is a new sector. So I think one of the explanations for it is that there were a lot of people that bought the momentum that probably aren't so passionate about the model.
Absolutely.
Don't see the model as being a long-term thing. We believe that probably in the next 5 years that Bitcoin treasury companies as a sector will become the most valuable sector of companies in the world. Clearly that's a view that's not shared by everyone at the moment. So it's probably something along those lines.
And we had a question: why should anybody, any company, trade at above the amount of Bitcoin? What can you do that warrants a 1.5 or a 2 times or 3 times MNAV?
Well, if you look at the Bitcoin yield that companies such as ourselves generate, even if it's only a few % a quarter, that justifies above 1 MNAV, because effectively that Bitcoin yield, the increase in the Bitcoin per share, is increasing the amount of Bitcoin on a look-through analysis. So
and that's what people call the flywheel.
Yeah. So the Bitcoin yield is the compounding of the Bitcoin, which justifies the model. The flywheel is all of those different capital tools that you can use. So if you look at the UK Bitcoin treasury companies, we are the only one that's actually been able to demonstrate that the model can work.
Yeah.
And that model is equity, ATM, smart to convert, potentially straightforward debt, potentially preference shares, potentially option strategies. The flywheel is everything that allows you to create the Bitcoin yield.
But it's chicken and egg, isn't it? Because you need a higher MNAV to warrant a higher MNAV.
You not really. You need a positive Bitcoin yield to convince people that you have a higher MNAV. If you have a higher MNAV, you can sell more equity. Selling equity is way better than selling anything else. But because there are strategies that you can use when you are on a lower MNAV, you can generate Bitcoin yield to a degree. Right. But if you've got a much, much, much higher MNAV, you can sell a lot more equity, and it's far more accretive than the other strategies without the risk that debt entails.
Yeah. And the great thing is you acted so quickly. You've got that big asset pile, right? What can you do to use and utilize those assets to earn profits? Because a normal company that we'd finance, that we would sort in financial markets that we would value, would be the amount of your assets and then your earnings, and we put your earnings on a multiple. So if you could get a yield from your crypto, you would attract potentially a, say, 10 times earnings multiple on top of the asset value, and then that would give you your MNAV multiple. Is there optionality around using the assets?
Yeah, of course you can. So we've explored a lot of those, and currently I'm not happy with the small amount of additional risk that you'll generate, to probably get, say, between a 4 and a 6% yield annually. Okay. But in simple terms, ignoring the risk part of it, you can effectively loan your Bitcoin, and you can get a 4 to 6% yield.
Okay, so that's about 10 million a year.
Yeah, approximately. So,
but that 10 million, if we put that on 10 times earnings, is 100 million.
Yeah.
So you end up trading at 1.5 times MNAV, and it kind of all works.
Yeah, it's just the risk element, but there is one way that we've found to do it, which has got almost no counterparty risk.
Okay.
So we're certainly seriously considering it, but as we're talking right now, we haven't done that. At some point, that will be something we can do. The other thing that we and we've been honest about this since the start, that we are exploring, but we will only do it for the right opportunity, is the acquisition elements against the core business, where we can pull in basically low risk businesses that are within the area of expertise that I've got, i.e. the web design and marketing sector.
Yeah.
And then we can use that to substantiate that. But you know, I've got to stress that we would only do those things, you know, if they're the right deals. And part of the right deal is the right price to pay for something that, you know, because, you know, if we're going to do a deal such as that, you know, and we're effectively doing it with our equity, if we believe that our equity is undervalued at the moment, you know, the deal's got to be even better to justify it.
That's the problem.
Because our equity is our currency.
Yeah, because it's a very normal thing for CFOs to have to choose between more equity or more debt.
Yep.
And I think any CFO that, when you're trading at a discount to your very liquid assets, debt becomes a very real and potential option. But yeah, we can't forget that you are a company outside of the Bitcoin holdings.
Yeah.
And how is the web business going?
Yeah, so, you know, we're starting to develop our profile and it to be better. You know, we've got a big rebrand underway at the moment. We're keeping the name, you know, spoiler before anyone sort of asks about that one. You know, and we're very proud of the name. But we believe that we've got a really good brand that will work for all of the different things that we do as a business, that hopefully in the next, I don't know, maybe as soon as the next month, probably the next 2 months, we'll be able to unveil.
Right.
So that's been going for a couple of weeks now. But that just takes time, like everything else. I think the most, or if I could leave one message with everyone, is, you know, we've been a public company for 6 months. You know, we've achieved a lot. We've gone from 1.6 million pounds worth of Bitcoin to over 200 million pounds worth of Bitcoin in that 6 month period.
Yeah.
You know, we believe that we've got everything right as a company for the future in terms of our strategy. You know, we're doing all the right things, many of which we're not allowed to talk about at the moment. And, you know, we believe that within another 6, 12, 18 months, you know, we'll be in a vastly different position to where we are today. You know, so it's very difficult to ignore the sort of the hours and the days, but it's better to focus on the weeks and the months to look at the things that we've achieved. You know, we haven't got everything perfect in terms of our decisions, but we've done most of it pretty well, and we're hoping that we can continue that.
So I guess to summarize, that it looks like a bit of indigestion in the market. If we can just get that share price back up, please, guys, and we'll bring the timeline in if we can. So let's look at specifically around about that MNAV, because that's the real tough part. Now, we think that the MNAV is around that 60 to 64 pence kind of.
Yeah, let's call it 60p.
60p. So it is really just since the end of October, in the last week, that you've seen that you know, significant gap. Because I mean, that, you know, what have we dropped? That's 16 pence, so 25%. So potentially 25% under MNAV.
Yep.
Is there? I remember there was warrants that came out with. What's the update on the sort of warrant situation?
Yeah, so that MNAV that we're talking about is fully diluted. Those warrants, you know, nothing can be done with them until April next year. So the end of April as well. So there's absolutely nothing, no impact in terms of market. You know, there might be a sentiment thing from the warrants, perhaps, but the warrants were known since the start. You know, it's how we had to structure it. If you remember, when no one wanted to support a Bitcoin treasury in the UK, that's why the warrants existed.
Yeah.
Obviously, very different afterwards. So yeah, I don't see that they've got a part in the current price. I think, you know, in very, very simple terms, it's shot a bit too far. You know, my old boss, Peter Hargreaves, who I used to work for, when I was complaining to him about a company that he was involved in that was sort of not performing very well and ended up performing fantastically, one of my best investments ever.
Right.
He said to me, I don't want to be rude, Andrew, but, you know, the share price is a simple case of buying and selling, you know, so.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's somebody's liquidating or being liquidated.
I think there's probably quite a lot of leverage that's been used for Bitcoin treasury companies.
But you the warrants literally do not become active until next April.
Yeah.
And as of April next year, then 60 pence in today's pricing would be the MNAV.
Yeah,
so
correct.
There's not another over.
Yeah, fully diluted MNAV.
Right. It's a real struggle to see why they're trading at 44 then.
Yeah. Well, it's very frustrating because we're in a closed period at the moment. So
Yeah, of course.
someone like me is not allowed to buy any shares. And, you know, as much as I don't want to offend my friend Alex, who runs Capital B, I would probably sell the lot for our shares right now.
Oh, right, because he's trading at one
Yeah,
times
he's
MNAV,
trading
yeah.
at 1.5. We're trading at 0.8. So, you know, the sensible thing for me personally would be to switch out of that into that, but
Yeah.
not allowed to do it at the moment.
It's been quite a remarkable journey, hasn't it? And Maturin on our Discord runs a Discord here, and he said very good of you to take the hot seat as it was. You know, the journey started here at 32 pence,
Yeah.
and you know certainly the viewers had their chance to make a lot of profits, and then subsequently have. You know, some have lost money because some got in at the wrong point,
Yep.
as you have as well, because you've been buying shares the whole time for your own personal
Yep.
account, as has been disclosed. How has it been? How's that sort of euphoria that's turned? You know, how are you doing?
Yeah, so you know, I share the journey with the shareholders, and I wish that the share price was higher. From a personal point of view, I'm not in the slightest bit fussed because I know where we're going, and I believe that just as all of those people, or a lot of those people, made a great deal of money in quite a short amount of time, I think we're just about to start the next wave, in my opinion. That said, you know, it is horrible seeing people that I can't speak to completely freely because of the rules that exist, and you know, I don't know their situations or how they've structured it or their timescales and things like that. So you have mixed feelings, really. You know, on one hand, you're incredibly confident because you know that everything's going in the right direction, in your opinion. But then on the other hand, you have things that you can't control, you know, but that's just something that I'm getting used to as being the CEO of, you know, what's become quite a successful UK company.
Absolutely. And it's it's been great to watch the journey. We're getting some comments in, refreshing to have a host be so knowledgeable. I think that's a little dig at Sedgwick, isn't it? Because you were on CNBC and Steve Sedgwick did not get it at all.
He didn't like it.
No, he didn't
like it. But I would love to go back on there because maybe he sees the value now.
Yeah. On that note, thank you all for joining us. If you're a first-time viewer of Trade Live with IG, we talk about Smarter Web. We bring it up, you know, at least 3 times a week, and we every time there's an RNS. So please subscribe to our YouTube and give us a thumbs up if you have enjoyed Andrew's interview here and want to thank him for coming in. So thank you very much for coming back in. You're absolutely always welcome. And yeah, who knows where the share price will be next time you come in to visit us, or you might be too big for us by then.
Never.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining us today. We shall see you tomorrow morning. Reminder, 7:30 a.m. for the overnight news. Where will Bitcoin be trading then with its first dip below 100,000, but surviving so far back up above that important psychological level. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow morning, and yeah, stay safe out there. Peace.